Welcome to another edition of Lady Mogul Talk, and today we have the fabulous, renowned, internationally award-winning vocalist. Thank you so much for inviting us into your lovely home. This is my third time being here. It's beautiful, and I hope we get to take a tour later.
Thank you.
Now, first, I would like to just congratulate you for your many accomplishments. You're an author, again, an award-winning vocalist, and you are a songwriter, and just so many accomplishments all around. I don't know how you do it all, but I first want to start off the conversation with learning about your roots and how it impacted your career and where you are today.
Well, I have spent the last 30 plus years in Denver, Colorado, the Denver metro area, but I'm originally from Lake Charles, Louisiana, where I actually, grew up, went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and then left there for Denver for university, which is how I got there. Mm-hmm. And my mom's sister was a chief master sergeant in the Air Force, and she had a business of sorts, and I would work summers for her in Denver, so I always loved it. So it was just a natural progression for me to head that way. But I actually started university at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. I started in music and had my daughter while I was in university, and then transferred to Denver from there. Mm-hmm. And I was going to finish a vocal jazz program, which is what I started in at Jackson State. Mm-hmm. But unbeknownst to me, when I arrived for the audition, they didn't tell me that they were doing away with the vocal jazz program, and asked me if I would try the classical program. And I said, no, thank you. I don't know any other language except English, really, and a little bit of Creole, which is a pidgin language. It's an amalgamation of multiple languages, French, English, some Spanish even, people don't realize. But yeah, I was like, no, that's okay. I'm going to be the next Billie Holiday, Nancy Wilson. That's not my calling. And they offered me a full scholarship, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it.
I would have done it too.
And they were like, if you don't like it after, first semester, then no harm, no foul. At least you tried. Mm-hmm. But I tried it, and I absolutely fell in love with the classical vocal arts, opera specifically. Yeah,
that's amazing. And I knew you were from Louisiana, but Lake Charles is where my father is from, so we'll have to have more conversations. Oh, we'll definitely have to talk.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of course. Now, a lot of people realize their passion and talent at a young age. Did that happen to you? And what was that experience?
Yes. So my thing, my piece de resistance, as they say, when I was a very little girl, was Anita Baker. Oh, she was my everything. I would practice with my boa and my hairbrush in my closet door. Had a mirror on the inside, a full-length mirror, and I would swear, you can tell me I was not Anita Baker at that time. I was just she was my everything. Rapture, everything, Sweet Love. I was going to be the next Anita, but she was my impetus. Even people like Patti LaBelle, I'm on My Own. That was one of my favorite songs in the whole world, and I can't believe how much it shaped me. Right. Because I was like, I'm going to perfect this song. I was literally in elementary school or something, But there were just certain artists and certain songs at certain times that were always one behind the other that made me know that was my singing, performing was my passion, expression, communication. That's all it really is. But yeah.
And it shows your discipline at such a young age, because who else thinks I'm going to perfect this song?
Yes.
I was playing with my imaginary friends. So that just shows, it does take, I know I couldn't do it. It does take a lot of talent and discipline to be a vocalist because of the training. I'm sure hours and hours of going in.
Well, it's really strange, because I was at a concert the other night, an outdoor concert, jazz concert, and I was being introduced to the curator of the High Museum. And she says, the person introducing me said, oh, I want to introduce you to this new singer to the area. Her name's Erica Papillion-Posey. Do you call yourself a singer or are you a vocalist? I said, actually, I'm a vocalist. And he said, oh, okay, because sometimes you really don't know. I said, actually, a lot of people don't realize that not all singers are vocalists, but all vocalists are singers. And he said, I never realized that. I never thought of that. And the curator of the museum said, oh my God, that is so true, isn't it? But what is the difference? Vocalists are trained. Anyone can be a singer. It's the difference.
I'm a singer. I'm not trained, though. You don't want to hear me. But yeah, I think so. In our conversations together, I've just learned so much about the world of vocalists, and I knew that there are different levels, but there is definitely a distinct difference. And I love that you educate your audience every time you perform, even with the bravo versus the brava.
Right, exactly. It should be a learning experience, but a fun learning experience where you walk away feeling like you were fed from an entertaining aspect, but also an educational aspect.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to address the elephant in the room. It might be an elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Being a Black woman in this industry, have there been challenges? Because typically we associate classical, maybe not jazz so much, but classical performances with other cultures. So what was it like, or what is it like being in this industry as a Black woman, having faced challenges?
Oh, for sure. First of all, a lot of people don't realize that African Americans, specifically African American females, are very, very prolific in the world of the operatic arts. We are some of the premier performers of opera music. And it's amazing because a lot of people don't realize, much like in the late 40s, 50s, when Black jazz artists fled the United States to Europe, so did a lot of classical vocal artists as well. To sing, in Europe and be appreciated there. You have people like Leontine Price and Grace Bumbry, who actually became famous and world-renowned in Europe before here, or who were contracted at major opera houses in Europe before they even received contracts here, like at the Met Opera or Houston Grand or something like that, Chicago Lyric. But it is quite challenging. You have people like Wagner, Richard Wagner, Richard Wagner, we would say, German composer, who his music is really only performed by a certain voice type, and his music really has lent itself to the Black female voice. If he knew that we were some of the premier performers of his music, he'd be doing 1,000 RPMs in his grave. But my teacher, who is Miss Grace Bumbry, who's right from East St. Louis, went to the same high school as Tina Turner, The Temptations. She's still alive and kicking today. She's 84 right now. She is an expatriate of the United States, so she literally does not have American citizenship anymore. For Europe, she's so renowned there. She's so respected there. She is just, there's a reverence for Black talent specifically in Europe beyond the United States in particular. But again, it's still challenging because when she did her first Wagner opera, she's known as the Black Venus. For this, she was the first Black woman to perform this role in a Wagner opera. And she had to be ushered in through the back door on the night of the premiere because there were numerous death threats. And if you know anything about Richard Wagner, he was an anti-Semite, racist through and through, which is where the irony comes from. You have people, great, Jessie Norman, again, incredible Black female opera singer and star, who are always, it's kind of like the Serena Williams effect, you know? She's always being hammered for what she looks like physically, her stature, her physique, you know, but has, you know, one of the most prolific titles in all of tennis history. The same is true for Black female talent in the classical operatic arts.
And you know, as you were speaking, what registered to me, because you've said this before, even though you have an audience here, more of your audience is in Europe, so it's kind of of like history repeating itself. Why do you think that's the case? Why? Is it our culture? Is it because we're a melting pot? Or why is it that we don't have the appreciation as we should?
I think, again, I use the word reverence. There's a reverence in Europe for Black talent, especially in the gospel arts, spiritual and jazz arts. Now, they created, specifically in Italy, they created opera. So they don't really need to hear us sing opera, but they know that vocally our voices fit the genre so beautifully. So they've come to love us for that. There's a presence that we have on stage that is unique and specific to Black acting, the Black actor, being statuesque, and just how we carry ourselves, you know. There's never been a time where I've gone to Europe that I haven't felt like a rock star. I would honestly say that I'm saying no one, not no one, but relatively speaking, in the United States knows who I am. But if I go to Europe, stepping off the plane, it's like, who are you? Everybody just, they want to even know who, if they don't know who you are, they want to know who you are. They know that you're there for something having to do with talent, or else why would you be there? Like they just automatically know. And they just love you and respect you. My debut night in Italy for my first opera festival that I did, it was so magical, so magical. I sang in a beautiful piazza, and there was a church in that piazza, and the opera was staged on the steps of this church. And the costume that I wore was from Rome Opera.
Was this your breakout role, Clara, in 2016?
No, Clara was from Porniendes. Okay. But the role that I sang there was from a Puccini opera called Suor Angelica, and I was La Zia Principessa, so I played a princess. But she was a mean princess. She's considered the Darth Vader of female opera characters. Wow. And so the dress that I had to wear was literally 25 pounds. It was the original that had been in the museum for where the costumes are for the theater.
That's amazing.
Amazing. And so I was assigned, a dresser and things like that. And coming out of my dressing room, being led to the stage because of the expense of the costume, I had to have two people hold the train for me because it was that substantial. And it was so magical. After the concert was over, I went to change my costume, and there was a line of people out the door, around the corner, and down the street of the piazza, just wanting to say hi, get an autograph. They were so gracious. And if you know, I was singing in Italian, or in Italy, and to be complimented on your enunciation, your diction in their language, their native tongue, was just magical. And if they appreciate you, they're singing along with you. They know every word to the opera that you're singing. They just appreciate you as a talent, as an art. Also, to your greater point, in Europe, we treat the arts, I think we, because I want to live there, they treat the arts in Europe as a necessary part of culture.
Not optional.
Here, we treat it as an option or a hobby. So it's understood. A lot of people don't understand how the educational system is different in other parts of the world as opposed to the United States. So you are tested as a small child to see what you have an affinity for, or this aptitude for, in terms of schooling. So if you like music early on, you go to a music school. If you like science early on, you go to a science school. If you like languages, you go to a linguistics school. So everything is specific and categorized that way in your schooling. So you start early on, and music is as important as the maths and sciences. So it's treated that way, it's honored that way. Another way is musicians are paid by the government in other parts of the world. So you're given a stipend, an annual salary, if you will. if you do not meet a certain threshold by getting independent gigs, so either you're given a certain amount of gigs that you should pay you X amount of dollars as a living wage, and if you fall short of that, the government subsidizes you for the rest.
Wow.
And they say, if I am an American going there to perform, and other Italians can, or it doesn't have to be Italy, it could be any European country, can fulfill those roles, they have to fill them first with their people, and then they're subsidized out to other foreigners. Wow. And here, you don't even get, I didn't even realize, because I'd never been on unemployment before, through COVID, was the first time that artists were qualified or able to get unemployment assistance. Never before, because it's considered a hobby. It's not considered a real job. Whereas it's just not so in Europe. You're considered as a viable part of society, and your contributions to society are as important as a scientist, a doctor, a lawyer. Doesn't matter. But yeah, that's the difference.
And I'm glad you mentioned COVID-19, because it has impacted a lot of industries, but especially the arts and entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So speak to what happened in your world about COVID-19, and how is it coming back slowly but surely, or what's going on?
I think it is, especially as we're all slowly but surely becoming vaccinated, which I've had both of mine. My husband has too.
Guilty, I have not.
But yes, it impacted us tremendously. So everything was canceled. Everything, every single gig that I had coming up was canceled. So I literally just sat idle that year, this past year. Well, that's not true. I didn't sit idle, because we moved from Colorado to Georgia. So that was daunting in and of itself. But it's amazing how you can find blessings in even bad times, because it gave us time to get here and get settled. It gave me time to write and plan new music and new projects for when we would ultimately come out of this. But I do feel that it's the fog is slowly lifting. Especially, I was telling you about this cool jazz event that we went to the other evening that was outdoors. But yeah, I think slowly but surely there's still a lot of people out of work. There's still a lot of people who I know financially it impacted like crazy, and who were scrambling to find something else to do to subsidize their income until this all passed.
Yes, and hopefully soon. And you mentioned that you did a lot of writings, and your first book was published in 2015, I believe. Musings from the Mind of a Mezzo.
Right?
See, she teaches me. So what was the inspiration behind this book for you?
Coming into my own, coming into myself, being comfortable with myself. You're probably still too young to realize it, but there's a certain point in your life that you hit where you gain this clarity. It's like you have an epiphany, and you're finally certain with where you are and who you are in the world. That was the impetus for it. I'm also a child of adoption. So the book was really a poetry and prose about my experiences and my acceptance and comfortability with, finally realizing that it's okay to be an adoptee as an artist and as a woman, and the pain and plight of all of that, and just getting to where I'm like, well, I'm okay with that. I'm good. I'm okay with the skin I'm in.
Yes. We all have to come to that point. Even with me not knowing my father, there's a point where we all, realize that, we'll be okay and be able to move on. So I definitely understand. I still have things to learn, I admit, but coming into our own as we figure, things out.
Right.
Now, I also want to give you, this is just full of congratulations. You recently launched the Vocalist Series collection.
Yeah.
What was your motivation behind this? Why was it important to launch this collection?
Oh, twofold. So I had it in the back of my head for some time, long before COVID. I was just so busy that I didn't have time to sit down and dedicate to it. COVID comes about. And I was like, well, I have the time, why not devote some of this downtime to creating this collection for vocalists. A lot of people are represented. Industry, and when I say industry, everybody is represented somehow, whether it's sports, there's a chamber for anything from doctors to journalists to, you have it across the board. A lot of musical paraphernalia, trinkets, apparel is dedicated more to musicians. I wanted something that was distinct, signature, dedicated to vocalists, using jargon lingo that would be completely and utterly clear to the vocalist, not a singer specifically. So for instance, I have 4 distinct logos that I have branded all of the accessories, jewelry, and apparel with. Fuck yeah.
And she did not say curse words.
So FACH is F-A-C-H, and it actually is a reference to the German system of singing. So if I say to you, what is your FACH? A vocalist would know what I mean by that and answer me or respond to me as I'm a soprano, I'm a mezzo soprano, or tenor, bass, baritone. So it's your voice type, voice part. What do you sing? So yes, FACH means voice. What is your voice type? And it is an actual system of voice, teaching voice. So we have that one. And then we have I treble, because as a female vocalist, we're typically singing in the treble, meaning in the high parts of the voice or the higher parts of the voice. So if you were sitting at a piano and you're at middle C, the treble is generally going to be anything to the right of middle C. But it's also a play on treble. Yeah. I treble, I'm treble. One of my songs from my last record is called I Treble.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was thinking, I heard you singing in my head actually just now.
And it is, toggle meaning, if you will, because I was actually walking my Pomeranian here before we left Colorado, and he started barking at another dog, and I was like, you are so much trouble. Why are you being such a troublemaker? And I started thinking treble. And I literally wrote most of the song in my head until I could get home and write the premise of it down, the theme of it down, while I was walking the dog. So I treble. We have another logo that's called Vocalist Do It. And vocalists do it high, and then vocalists do it deep. Deep for guys, high for women. Though you do have something called a contralto, and contraltos can sing basically tenor, almost into the high baritone range. But yeah, that's basically what it is. And then the other one that we have is I treble. We have vocalists do it, and then we have vocalist, the first instrument, because many people really don't realize that the voice is the first instrument. It really is. There were no other instruments before the voice, and I really wanted to big up that. And some things are right in your face and evident, but not so evident.
Yeah. It's a new way to look at it. I would have never put the two together, which is true though.
Very first. But yeah, so we have everything from travel totes, because vocalists, we're always traveling for something. Again, you're going to different opera houses, different countries, different cities to perform. And so we're always toting something around, whether it be music books, music scores. We always have a bottle of water with us, room temperature. Scarves, throat coat,
protect the voice.
Exactly. Tea, things that we would essentials, singer essentials, if you will, stuff like that. And then comfy apparel, because we're always traveling, we're always in a car, on a train, plane, like they say, automobile. Going to and from an audition, a competition, a voice lesson, a music class. We're always on the go. And I just wanted us to be able to rep, our craft and still look cool doing it, So yeah, specifically for like FUBU for Us by Us.
Yes.
That was the whole intent. That was the whole intent.
Well, it is a beautiful collection. I remember you were just working so hard, and I know you're excited that part is over.
Yeah,
and
but it was fun
much.
creating. Yes. I actually created every logo from scratch. I created all the graphics. All the mock-ups and everything. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. We have water bottles, the signature water bottles. I said, there are different, multiple kinds to choose from. So it's not just one item per collection. It's a collection, 4 different collections, again, repping each of those logos, those signature distinct logos. I'm actually taking a marketing class right now so that I can better market the line, because I really think it's awesome. I really think it's going to catch on in a really big way. And I really like it. My girlfriends even say to me, I wish I was a vocalist so I could wear some of this stuff. And cute jewelry and things like that, bracelets. All kinds of cool, super cute things, but I want to learn how to market it effectively and more broadly to vocalists in mass. Yeah.
And so you always have something up your sleeve. What is next for you? Please share, if you can, with us what is next.
So I'm going to be recording again my new record, which I was working on when COVID hit, but put that on the back burner. And because I've moved to the Georgia metro area, I recently was able to get connected with some incredible musicians in the area who've worked with people like India Ari and the Marcellus family, Wynton Marcellus, and the gentleman who plays piano and who'll be at an upcoming concert, which we'll tell you more about, used to play with the Marcellus family, Ellis the father. Incredible, and they reside right here in the Atlanta area. I think super cool hidden gems in the area that I never heard of, who I never heard of before. So yes, we have 2 concerts coming up in June 19th and June 25th. So look for details on that coming up. And then we're going to start writing some more for the upcoming record. Which is due for release in fall, and it's already titled, but I don't think I want to give it away.
It's okay, but hopefully she'll release it to us first later.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. But the premise, the concept, the template is in place for the record. We're going to start actually marrying the lyrics and the music together at the beginning of June. Because I write all of the lyrics as well. So we have that coming up. I'm so excited for that. Totally excited for what's going to come out in the wash. Also because there's something called bossa nova, is a type of jazz, but the gentleman who created soul bossa is also from the Atlanta area, and he is the former bassist for India Ari. And he is so freaking amazing. So I'm super excited to hear what the sound is going to be like, because I'm a lover of bossa nova. So I'm looking forward to that. Few things.
A few. It's a lot.
I'm always doing something.
Yes, you are. But that's amazing. That's how you stay relevant and how you're able to extend your reach. So she is always on the go, a busy lady. And we want to make sure we keep up with you. So tell us how we can. And then most importantly, can we see the special tokens in your home that you've shown me before for audience? Absolutely. So if you want to reach out, I am on all social platforms. My Facebook artist page is Erica Papillion-Posey. So not my personal profile, but my artist profile is Erica Papillion-Posey. And you'll know the difference, because in my artist page profile, I'm actually singing. And then Instagram at epapillon-posey, Twitter epapillon-posey, YouTube Erica Papillion-Posey, or you can email me at papillon.posey@gmail.com. But you also will want to check out my website epapillon-posey.com, where you can find free audio clips, video clips,
performance gallery, picture gallery, you name it. If you haven't had enough of me yet, go look up my website and pull some of that stuff up. It'll last you an afternoon or something.
Well, we certainly haven't had enough of you, and you want to check out her website and all social media platforms. So much amazing content that you do not want to miss. And so she said we could get a sneak peek, and we're going to just take a quick break and look at her beautiful home.
You ready, Christiana? You ready? I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready this time. All right. You ready, Anisha?
So we're back again, and Avery was inquiring about some of my favorite treasures here at our new home in Georgia. And I think my biggest treasure at the moment is this beautiful baby grand that my husband gifted me last year. And it's become my baby. You know, men have cars. Well, musicians have things like this, right? Isn't she beautiful? I'm so proud of her. But yeah, if you're a recording musician, taking your art, your musicianship seriously, you want to invest in something that's, you know, going to help you move to that next level. So yes, my largest prized possession. And then I have my vintage microphone here. She's beautiful, isn't she? The sound isn't as good, but she's pretty to look at, right? She's pretty. And then over here we have my gramophone. And it's actually an acoustic. That's one of my most recent acquisitions. Acoustic gramophone. So you can actually sit your cell phone here in the top. And then it'll play acoustically through the cast iron. So the top is actually the gramophone portion, cast iron. And it sounds fantastic. It's beautiful. This little knucklehead here is also one of my prized companions. This is Bree. Say hi, Bree. Say hi. Say hi to the camera. And then we have my wall of, what I call my wall of achievement, my legacy wall. These paintings, or not paintings, they're actually 3D photographs, if you will, from an artist in the Netherlands. And her focus, her muses are always Black women. And my husband started gifting me those a few years ago. So they're absolutely incredible. Again, the artist is from the Netherlands, but love them. They speak such power and energy to your space. I love waking up in the morning and looking at them. They're incredible. And they each actually have a name: Destiny, Faith, and Glory. Yeah. And they are, I guess you could say, protecting. Yeah. All of my records, all of my creations thus far. Again, my legacy. This is my first record from 2015 called The Standard Reimagined. In the jazz world, we actually call them a jazz standard, you know, records that have come through the ages as, you know, standard pieces in the jazz repertoire, jazz literature. So I wanted to kind of turn that on its head and record it with just piano, violin, and bass. Yeah, so that's why I said reimagined. My second record is From the Deep from 2017. And this was the first time that I tried my hand at writing. Yeah, that was adventurous. Also, love mixing classical music with jazz. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of classical composers were heavily, in the 20th century, were heavily influenced by jazz artists. So one of my signature roles in opera is Carmen from the opera Carmen, and one of her signature arias is the habanera. That's the short word for the aria. It's actually L'amour est un oiseau rebelle. Love is but a rebellious bird. And I re-recorded it as a bossa nova on this record. So super cool. Listen to it if you get a chance. And then my third record is Better Angels. And the title comes from originally Abraham Lincoln's 1864 inaugural address, where he's calling on everyone's better angels at a time when the North and South were war, the Civil War, and he's trying to calm everyone's, angst over the war. And this was the term better angels was in his inaugural address at that time. All of one page, less than one page I think it was, but that's where the term originally came from. However, when Barack Obama came back onto the scene from his hiatus, having left the presidency, he used that term again. And I was like, that's my title. That's my title. I love this record so much. They say the more you do, the better you get. And this one is, I think, the piece of work where I realized my talents and I became comfortable with writing and my voice as a writer and composer. I did executively produce all three records. So not only did I produce them, I also wrote for them the music and the lyrics, with the exception of the music, because it was based on standards for that one, but executively produced all of them. So a lot of work. And then my book from 2015 called, as we were discussing, Musings from the Mind of a Mezzo, because I'm a mezzo soprano. So people always say when they find out I sing classically, oh, you're a soprano? No, I'm a mezzo soprano. We're generally the ones giving the soprano trouble. Yeah, we're usually taking her boyfriend, chiding her about something. She's always screaming about something. But to me, mezzo roles are so much more interesting and varied than traditional soprano roles. So that's why mezzo. And it's my voice type. It's my Bach. Remember that? Volume 2 is due to come out in 2022. So after I do this next record, I'm gonna focus shift my focuses again to my literary exploits. So look for Volume 2 in 2022. And then you have to have some area of demarcation for one of the greatest jazz singers of all time, right? The Billie Holiday. I actually won this at an auction, at an event, and I was determined to get her. Isn't she amazing? The Billie Holiday. If you guys haven't seen the movie on Hulu, starring Andra Day, who is incredible in the role, but vocally, oh my God, just incredible. Go check it out. The United States versus Billie Holiday. So check that out. Great movie. She just won, I think, the Golden Globe for it. But incredible depiction of Billie Holiday in that movie. Yeah, so, and then my bells. I love bells. And my conga there, which my music teacher, one of my pianists, gave those to me. So I love keeping them near. Anything musical, of course. Music. Besides those, actually, this is a singing bowl. It's from Nepal. You can get singing bowls that have a specific pitch or root, if you will. So this one is actually in the key of C, and it represents or denotes balance and harmony in your home. So if you take the and you hit the C on the piano, you'll hear the same pitch. Again, this one is rooted to C, so you can get it in any pitch you want. But I have mine rooted to C for balance and harmony in your home. Good energy, good vibes. You always want to be in balance. Yeah, what else do we have? Let's see. You always have to, if you're in classical arts and you attend a lot of operatic or musical classical events, you need your opera glasses, right? You must have some opera glasses ready to go in case you are sitting in the nosebleed seats. Let's see, and I think the piece de resistance might be my closet, because as a singer, we have to be fitted for the stage, right? We must always have options. So follow me on in here. So, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't even party a lot, really. I don't party at all. I'm very boring. But I love dressing well. I think that every woman should be dressed well. I'm not into designer or anything like that. I'm really not, but I'm into good quality clothing. And every woman should have a boudoir or a place that she can just come and sit in and feel good about herself, you know, and close the world out. And of course, this is my favorite place. Besides sitting at my piano, this is my favorite place to just sit and just read a magazine or commune. And you know, flanked by perfumes and jewels and, you know, anything to feel pretty. Every woman wants to feel pretty and pampered. So yes, this is my humble abode, as they say. Yeah. And the chandelier. Of course, don't you feel glamorous when you see that chandelier? I think it's beautiful. So this is my way of pampering myself and recharging when I come off of the stage. And I'm happy with how it turned out. Us having moved to our new home and everything, it's begun to feel like home.
Well, thank you so much for inviting us to your home and just showing us the special mementos that are so dear to your heart. It's just the story behind each piece.
Right.
So just thank you for inviting us to your home and learning more about your story.
Thank you. Thank you for being interested. Thank you.
Well, this has been another segment of Lady Mogul Talk, and we will have your next segment next week. Bye, Lady Moguls.